What if the key to winning the battle lies not just in firepower, but in a well-timed surprise? As the echoes of war raged across the skies of Ukraine, something dramatic was unfolding. In August 2024, the arrival of US-manufactured F-16 fighter jets marked a decisive shift in the ongoing conflict. They weren't magical solutions, but they provided Ukraine with fresh avenues for defense against the relentless barrage of Russian missiles and drones. Over time, these aircraft transformed into a formidable asset, enabling Ukraine to launch counterattacks against Russian positions. But just when the tide seemed to turn, an even bigger surprise loomed on the horizon. Vladimir Putin was left aghast when whispers about the imminent delivery of Gripen fighter jets from Sweden reached his ears. Reports from the Kiev Post on September 29 confirmed that Ukraine's Deputy Defense Minister, Lieutenant General Ivan Havrilyuk, was gearing up to welcome these new additions to the Ukrainian Air Force. During a careful interview with a BBC reporter, Havrilyuk maintained an enigmatic demeanor when questioned about the jets. Instead of spilling secrets, he teased the notion that once these aircraft painted the sky over Ukraine, the world would truly grasp their significance. His words dripped with caution, revealing too much might allow Russia to fortify its defenses against these incoming threats. The reporter's persistence only heightened the intrigue. He probed further, asking if the expected aircraft included the F-16s, the French Mirages, or perhaps the Gripens. Havrilyuk's cryptic response hinted at a golden opportunity. Practically, you named the nomenclature correctly, but I won't go into detail. This was not just a military upgrade, it was a calculated game of strategy. The Gripens had previously been proposed to Ukraine back in 2024, but Ukraine had deferred, concentrating instead on integrating the F-16s into their arsenal. The decision was not born out of disinterest, but from an awareness of the complexities involved in mastering two different fighter systems simultaneously. As time unfolded, an important shift occurred. With the F-16 program solidified, Ukrainian pilots were ready. By early January 2025, a record-breaking achievement was made. One Ukrainian pilot shot down 6 cruise missiles in a single sortie, signaling competence gained from rigorous training and experience. Then, in September 2025, a pivotal moment arrived. As discussions intensified between Ukraine and its European allies, it became clear Ukraine was ready to embrace the Gripens. Conversations were confirmed, and commitments were being made. With Sweden taking proactive steps to assist Ukraine, the arrival of the Gripen jets was no longer just speculation. The airspace above Ukraine prepared to host a new fleet designed to counter the adversarial threats posed by Russia. But why this insistence on the Gripens? As Russian aircraft harassed the skies near NATO borders, NATO responded with Gripens to reinforce their message of deterrence. They were proven capable, steering Russian jets away during various incursions. The Gripen was different. It wasn't just another fighter jet, it was a vehicle engineered to excel in uncertainty, to outmaneuver, and to strike with precision. Its advanced design made it as versatile as it was lethal. As this formidable aircraft began its approach to Ukraine, it became clear, a new chapter was about to begin in this relentless battle. But questions lingered. What specifics did the Gripen offer? How many would arrive? What power would they wield against Russia? As the Ukrainian Air Force and Sweden's forces integrated more deeply, the horizon lit up with possibilities. What had once been a distant dream was rapidly materializing, and the urgency to confront the enemy head-on was palpable. The battle was intensifying, but now Ukraine had the means to strike back, and the Gripen was poised to play a pivotal role. The stage was set for a confrontation like no other, where the echoes of war met the roar of new engines soaring through the sky. Would Ukraine harness the full potential of its new advanced fighters, or would the unexpected twists of war render their efforts futile? Only time would tell, but one thing was certain, the fight for sovereignty was far from over, and the grip of destiny tightened around the fate of nations. In a remarkable turn of events, Ukraine stands on the brink of a significant military enhancement. The arrival of Swedish Gripen fighter jets is imminent, marking a game-changing moment in the ongoing conflict with Russia. This is not just another piece of military hardware, it symbolizes a new stage in Ukraine's defense capabilities. Could this sudden boost alter the fate of the battlefield? The anticipation surrounding these jets is palpable, especially after Ukraine's Deputy Defense Minister, Ivan Havrilyuk, hinted during an interview that several Western fighter jets, including the Gripens, are indeed on their way. When pressed for specifics, he replied enigmatically, "You pretty much named the right terms." This light teasing only adds to the excitement of what's to come. After all, the inclusion of Gripens in that statement couldn't mean anything less than Sweden's commitment to support Ukraine against Russian advances. Historically, Sweden offered the Gripen jets back in 2024, but at that time, Ukraine had to decline the offer. They were overly focused on integrating F-16s into their forces, determining that juggling multiple fighter programs would only complicate their defense strategies. Former Swedish Foreign Minister Tobias Billström noted that Ukraine realized handling two different fighter systems was quite a task. They believed it prudent to first master the F-16s before looking towards adding more complicated elements to their arsenal. Yet here we are, nearly a year later, with a transformed battlefield. As Ukrainian pilots have grown more adept with the F-16s, the time has come for the Gripens. September has brought renewed discussions on military aid, notably with implications that Sweden is prepared to fulfill its promise. The excitement around the Gripen jets has built steadily, especially when reports surfaced that these advanced aircraft were not only essential to Ukraine but also perfectly positioned to counter the threats posed by Russia. What makes the Gripen such a remarkable addition? This aircraft is a versatile multi-role jet designed for modern warfare, renowned for its agility and advanced technology. Equipped to handle current threats, it may very well give Ukraine the edge it needs. As they prepare to integrate these jets into their lineup, the implications for upcoming engagements with Russian air forces become increasingly serious. But how will Ukraine utilize the Gripens? There are still many unanswered questions. Will they be deployed in tandem with F-16s, or alone? What strategies will be employed to leverage their capabilities? As the situation develops, Ukraine is gearing up for an intense clash that could redefine the dynamics of air power in the region. The wait is almost over, and the immediate future is fraught with tension and anticipation. Can these Swedish jets truly become the turning point Ukraine has been waiting for? When the US-made F-16s arrived in Ukraine in August 2024, the battleground shifted significantly. They weren't magical solutions to the war, but they granted Ukraine new strategies against relentless missile and drone attacks. As more F-16s joined the fleet, their capabilities expanded, enabling effective strikes on Russian positions. In a shocking development, reports emerged that Sweden had decided to send its Gripen fighter jets to Ukraine. The news, as confirmed by Lieutenant General Ivan Havrilyuk, Ukraine's deputy defense minister, sent ripples of disbelief through Russia. During a recent interview, Havrilyuk carefully dodged direct questions about the timing and quantity of the jets, hinting instead that their appearance in the skies would speak volumes. The anticipation was palpable. As tension simmered, the question arose, what exactly is on its way to Ukraine? Havrilyuk's hints suggested that Gripens were indeed included among the new aircraft. This wasn't just a fleeting possibility, Sweden had long awaited the right moment to fulfill this offer. Initially, Ukraine had opted against receiving the Gripens in favor of focusing on F-16 training. Yet, the tides had turned. Fast forward to January 2025, a Ukrainian pilot shattered a world record, downing 6 cruise missiles in a single sortie. Ukrainian pilots were now adept at flying their American-made jets, and the time was ripe for a new chapter. The discussions with European partners intensified, shifting focus not just to Eurofighter Typhoons but also to Gripens. On September 22, the Kiev Post shared exciting news about ongoing commitments for the Gripen. This wasn't mere speculation, it indicated direct agreements between Ukraine and Sweden. Russia's provocative conduct near Lithuania underscored the urgency. 5 Russian jets crept close to NATO airspace. This maneuver was a blatant threat, yet NATO's response showcased confidence in their capabilities. Gripens from Hungary were deployed to escort away the Russian threat, proving their mettle. As whispers about Ukraine's defenses grew, one crucial question lingered: what will the Gripens' arrival mean for the conflict? With intertwined histories and strategic implications, the stakes have never been higher. Will these advanced aircraft tilt the balance of power in Ukraine's favor? The anticipation hangs thick in the air, as the Gripen's debut draws near, promising to change the rules of engagement on the front lines. The unknown looms. What capabilities will these Swedish jets truly bring, and will they effectively counter the threats posed by Russia? The quiet before the storm has never felt so intense. The recent commitment from Ukraine signals a monumental shift in its military capabilities. The arrival of the Gripen fighter jets is not just good news, it represents a strategic advantage that has been in the making for quite some time. As the world watched, Deputy Defense Minister Ivan Havrilyuk hinted that significant reinforcements were imminent. But what truly lies ahead for Ukraine? On September 26, the stakes escalated as Russia resorted to its old tactics, sending its fighter jets perilously close to NATO airspace. This time, the target was the Baltic nation of Lithuania. Picture 5 Russian jets, a trio of MiG-31s alongside a Su-30 and a Su-35, approaching the borders, a clear show of menace and provocation. The tension was palpable. But the Kremlin hesitated. Poland had issued a stern warning: any Russian aircraft crossing into NATO territory would be met with force. The implications of such a statement hung thick in the air, sparking uncertainty among Russian commanders. Despite the escalating threats, Putin's forces remained just outside Lithuania's airspace, aware of NATO's resolve. In response to Russia's aerial provocations, NATO executed a defensive maneuver that would soon tie back to Ukraine's fighting future. The NATO air policing mission deployed Gripens, provided by Hungary, to shadow and deter the Russian jets. Imagine the roar of engines and the adrenaline of the pilots as they escorted their adversaries away from vital airspace, a clear affirmation of confidence in these formidable Swedish aircraft. Now, with the Gripen poised to join Ukraine's arsenal, questions loom. What version of the Gripen will Ukraine receive? How many jets are being dispatched? The details remain shrouded in mystery, but one thing is evident: this sophisticated aircraft is designed for versatility. The Gripen's advanced aerodynamics, coupled with unparalleled agility, positions it as a game-changer. With capabilities tailored to meet evolving threats, it becomes essential for operations against not just current adversaries but any future challenges. As darkness falls over the conflict zone, the sound of advancing jets could soon drown out the fear. Could this be the turning point Ukraine needs to reclaim control in a lasting conflict? Only time will tell, but the waves of change are undeniable. The engines are starting, and soon, the Gripens will soar across the skies, backed by a renewed hope for dominance and safety in the face of a looming threat. The Gripen fighter jets are on their way to Ukraine, marking a significant moment in the ongoing conflict. The anticipation is palpable, but what exactly can we expect? We lack definitive details about the specific models and quantities. However, a potent alliance is already in place between the Ukrainian and Swedish air forces. Back in May, Ukraine confirmed plans to receive assistance from Saab, the manufacturer of the Gripen, to upgrade its older Soviet-era aircraft. This collaboration could mean that knowledge surrounding the Gripen's advanced features has already been shared, potentially even integrating some Gripen technology into Ukraine's older fleet. Despite the uncertainty, what's clear is that the Gripen stands as one of Europe's most sophisticated aircraft. It's a single-engine multi-role fighter designed to confront both present and future challenges. Just days before Ukraine's confirmation, Russia displayed its aerial prowess near NATO airspace, sending a clear message. With Gripens at its disposal, Ukraine could effectively counter any threats posed by Russian forces. The Gripen's intelligent design features set it apart. Its aerodynamic configuration and digital flight control enable remarkable agility in the skies. It's engineered for success in dogfights and to deliver precision strikes on ground targets. When it comes to versatility, few jets can compare. If there's a NATO-compatible missile or bomb, chances are, the Gripen is primed to handle it. As we await the arrival of this game-changing aircraft, it begs the question: how will Ukraine leverage this new power? Will it shift the balance in the ongoing struggle? One thing is for certain: the stakes are higher than ever. The Gripen, a symbol of advanced military engineering, may soon become a nightmare for Russian forces. The airspace is charged with anticipation of what's to come, and only time will tell how this next chapter unfolds. The Gripen fighter jet is a game-changer for Ukraine's air defense. This versatile aircraft means Ukraine can effectively utilize nearly all munitions supplied by its European and American allies. Imagine the strategic advantage when a jet can be outfitted for any mission with ease. The standard Gripen arsenal includes advanced missiles like AIM-9, IRIS-T, and AIM-120, along with bombs like Mark 82 and GBU-12. It even carries the RBS-15F anti-ship missile. Equipped with a high-velocity 27mm Mauser gun featuring radar-guided automation, it's not a machine Russian pilots want to challenge. The Gripen can soar at incredible speeds of up to 2,200 km per hour, around 1,367 miles per hour or Mach 1.8. The jet also boasts a range of 3,000 kilometers, about 1,864 miles, and is available in one or two pilot configurations. However, the specifics of which model Ukraine will receive remain unclear. Manufactured by Saab, the Gripen E model introduces groundbreaking features. Dubbed the Game Changer, it integrates artificial intelligence into the cockpit, enhancing operational effectiveness. This AI capability allows the pilot to access a wide area display to aid decision-making in real time. What's more, it enables control over weaponry, ensuring precision targeting while coordinating with fellow pilots. In an era where electronic warfare is a growing threat, the Gripen is ingeniously designed to neutralize such dangers. This adaptability becomes crucial as global tensions rise. How will Ukraine leverage its Gripens against Russian threats? What new strategies will unfold in the sky? As the situation escalates, one thing is clear: this advanced aircraft holds the keys to shifting the balance of power. Prepare for a future where survival hinges on technological superiority and strategic prowess. Stay tuned as the aerial drama continues to unfold in unexpected ways. As the Gripen fighter jets approach Ukrainian airfields, a seismic shift is about to unfold in the ongoing conflict with Russia. The news reverberates like thunder in the hearts of those yearning for freedom. These planes symbolize resilience and national pride, representing what a nation can achieve when it refuses to be constrained by external powers. But how will Ukraine harness this technological marvel against its formidable adversary? At its core, the Gripen is not just another jet, it embodies advanced warfare intelligence. Military analyst Wes O'Donnell asserts it possesses the potential to challenge even the most advanced jets, like the F-35. The aircraft excels in a realm where information supremacy reigns supreme. Forget sheer speed or an arsenal of missiles. In modern combat, being the first to gather and distribute battlefield data holds unprecedented power. As he eloquently states, the side that sees the battlefield first has the advantage. This intelligence capability means the Gripen supplies its pilots with crucial insights, enabling swift and accurate decision-making. Picture this: a pilot soaring through the sky, rapidly relaying crucial data to ground forces, enhancing coordination, and optimizing defense strategies. Its cutting-edge detection systems combined with integrated AI elevate situational awareness, transforming the landscape of the battlefield. When tasked with defense, the Gripen showcases remarkable agility, deftly maneuvering to evade drones and intercepting missiles that threaten key targets. The data it collects can bolster Ukraine's existing defenses, improving response times against incoming threats. On the offense, its agility allows it to gracefully navigate around enemy air defenses, striking ground targets with pinpoint accuracy while maintaining dominance in aerial confrontations. Moreover, the Gripen offers a significant advantage that could tip the scales further in Ukraine's favor: affordability. At merely $4,000 an hour, its operational costs are significantly lower compared to other advanced jets. In a war marked by economic attrition, where every dollar counts, this cost-effectiveness becomes a game-changer. As anticipation builds for the Gripen's arrival, the question lingers: what impact will this mighty warbird have on Ukraine's quest for sovereignty? The answer may soon unfold as the skies above Ukraine prepare for a new dawn of aerial power. Will the Gripen prove to be the key that unlocks victory in this fierce struggle? In the gripping context of an ongoing war, Ukraine found itself in a precarious dance with economic reality and military necessity. As the Ukrainian defense forces prepared to welcome the Swedish Gripen fighter jets, a question loomed: could these economical yet fierce aircraft turn the tide against the Russian onslaught? The Gripen, while not as famous as the F-16, cost only about $4,000 per hour to operate, half the expense of its American counterpart. In times when Ukraine's military budget was strained under the weight of a staggering $100 billion expenditure, with 30% drawn from its own budget, every dollar saved mattered immensely. The Atlantic Council warned that Ukraine was not just battling on the ground but engaged in a dangerous economic attrition war. Comparatively, Russia poured $170 billion into its military efforts, but that only constituted 8% of its GDP, much less than Ukraine's war-induced financial strain. Ukraine faced an estimated budget deficit of 22% of GDP, with projections indicating a shortfall nearing $41.5 billion in 2025 alone. Despite tax increases in military aid, the risk of insolvency loomed, leading analysts to caution that funds could dry up by 2026. While the Gripen wouldn't single-handedly resolve these challenges, its affordability represented a vital lifeline. Saving thousands for each hour of flight over hundreds of missions could accumulate into significant savings amidst an otherwise bleak fiscal landscape. Beyond mere economics, the Gripen's versatility shone through. Capable of taking off and landing on unconventional surfaces, even civilian highways. It could provide Ukraine with the flexibility needed for effective operations in a resource-constrained war zone. The anticipation of these advanced jets promised new strategies in the fight against Russia's relentless air assaults. Amidst these developments, tension brewed as a recent report revealed Russia's brazen tactics involving its fighter jets nearing NATO airspace, a clear provocation. As the situation escalated, how would the arrival of these new planes influence the battlefield dynamics in Ukraine? Could they provide the upper hand needed to counter Russia's aggression? The countdown to their arrival had begun, and the stakes were higher than ever. In August 2024, the arrival of US-made F-16 jets marked a significant turning point in Ukraine's ongoing conflict against Russian aggression. While these aircraft were not miraculous solutions, they provided essential options for countering Russia's onslaught of missile and drone attacks. With each new addition of F-16s, Ukraine gradually shifted its strategy to incorporate strikes against Russian positions. However, this was merely the prelude to a shocking development that would send tremors through the Kremlin. Imagine the disbelief in Vladimir Putin's eyes upon learning that Sweden was gifting Ukraine its advanced Gripen fighter jets. This revelation echoed on September 29, when Lieutenant General Ivan Havrilyuk, Ukraine's deputy defense minister, confirmed the impending arrival of these formidable aircraft. Instead of a grand announcement, he chose to keep his cards close to his chest, teasing reporters with their arrival while withholding crucial details. The tension was palpable, with the BBC reporters probing questions only heightening the suspense. In that pivotal exchange, Havrilyuk hinted at a list of incoming jets, and the mention of the Gripen stirred excitement. This was not just another military maneuver, it was an answer to Ukraine's strategic needs, cultivated over years of complex negotiations. Curious spectators wondered why these jets hadn't appeared sooner. The answer lay in a carefully calculated decision from the past, where Ukraine prioritized the F-16 program over additional assets, knowing that managing multiple fighter jet systems would stretch their resources thin. Fast forward to today, after months of training and operational readiness with the F-16s, Ukraine stood poised to embrace its new air power. The Gripen, with its impressive multi-role capabilities and versatility, promises to enhance Ukraine's defenses even more. Not only is it cost-effective, requiring roughly half the operational cost of the F-16 per flight hour, but it also brings the added advantage of operating from unconventional surfaces such as highways. This capability could prove vital in the chaotic environment of war, protecting the Gripen from potential airstrikes. Moreover, the Gripen has already faced real combat, proving its mettle when deployed by Thailand against Cambodia earlier in 2025. With confirmed effectiveness, this aircraft is set to redefine Ukraine's air combat dynamics. While some may argue it's not a game-changer, its contribution could bolster Ukraine's defenses and further drain the already overstretched Russian forces. As the grip of conflict tightens around strategic locations like Pokrovsk, the potential deployment of Gripens could spell doom for Russian troops, who are already struggling to maintain their positions against relentless Ukrainian countermeasures. Every incoming jet adds to the aura of impending hope and renewed strength for Ukraine as they face their adversaries. The anticipation is thick in the air. Will these additional jets prove to be the catalyst that ultimately shifts the tide of the war? Only time will tell. In August 2024, a pivotal change swept across the battlefield in Ukraine with the deployment of US-made F-16 fighter jets. They weren't miracles sent from the skies, but they offered the Ukrainian forces a new lease on combat capabilities against the torrent of Russian missile and drone assaults. As more F-16s joined the fight, Ukraine not only defended itself but began to retaliate fiercely against Russian strongholds. Fast forward to late September, shockwaves rippled through the military landscape when Sweden decided to join the fray, sending Gripen fighter jets to bolster Ukraine's air force. The news was confirmed by Lieutenant General Ivan Havrilyuk, who hinted that these Swedish jets would soon be soaring through the Ukrainian skies. His responses during an interview were tantalizingly vague, suggesting a strategic reserve of power lurking just under the surface, ready to be unleashed. Why was he so cautious? The less Russia knows about Ukraine's weaponry, the more effective their deployment will be. As the tension built, Havrilyuk's cryptic statements promised something massive. He echoed a sentiment that both media and military analysts felt: the Gripen's arrival could change the dynamics of power in the region. This was not just a reinforcement, it was a potent reminder that Ukraine had options, and it wasn't afraid to use them. The Gripens represented a calculated response to a growing Russian menace, especially with the recent aerial provocations where Russian jets flirted with NATO airspace. But, as reporters probed deeper into the specifics, the type of Gripens, the number being sent, Havrilyuk artfully dodged, raising suspicion and curiosity. His glances hinted at a carefully laid plan, one that could transform the ongoing conflict dramatically. As days passed, whispers of military cooperation between Ukraine and Sweden bubbled to the surface, escalating the stakes. Was Ukraine about to unleash a new pivotal threat against Russian forces? Meanwhile, a military analyst highlighted the Gripen's capabilities to counter electronic warfare, a crucial feature given Russia's reliance on such tactics. Gripen conducts real-time signal analysis, claims Saab, emphasizing its ability to thwart enemy interference. The fighter could execute its missions with precision, swiftly refueling and rearming in under 20 minutes, an invaluable asset for any nation under siege. Under such pressure, having a jet that could rapidly return to the skies could turn the tide of war. What's more, the Gripen represents more than just advanced technology. It embodies the spirit of independence and self-reliance in military manufacturing. Sweden chose to develop the Gripen when other options, like the F-16 and Mirage, were readily available. They didn't want to depend on outside powers, so they forged their path. This resonates with Ukraine's journey of seeking self-sufficiency in defense capabilities, especially in an era of unpredictable support from the West. As Sweden's Gripens prepare for their inaugural flight over Ukraine, one can only wonder about the impact they will have. Will they intimidate Russian forces, or will they usher in a new era of aerial dominance? The answer lies just beyond the horizon, thick with anticipation and the scent of change, as Ukraine stands on the brink of something extraordinary. The Gripen could become not just a part of Ukraine's military arsenal but a potent symbol of resilience, independence, and the fight for sovereignty in a world where every advantage counts. In August 2024, everything changed for Ukraine as US-made F-16s began to land on its soil. These aircraft weren't a magical solution, but they opened doors to new strategies against Russian missile and drone warfare. As more F-16s joined the fleet, Ukraine deployed them for striking back at Russian positions, turning the tide of the conflict. Russia, aware of the damage these Western jets could inflict, was on high alert. Then came a shocking revelation that sent waves of disbelief through the Kremlin. Sweden was set to give Ukraine Gripen fighter jets. On September 29, an announcement from Ukraine's Deputy Defense Minister, Lieutenant General Ivan Havrilyuk, confirmed that these state-of-the-art fighters were indeed on their way. When pressed by a reporter from the BBC, Havrilyuk's cryptic remarks hinted at exciting developments. "When you see them in the air over Ukraine, then you will understand," he stated, igniting speculation and intrigue. As the news spread, the question loomed large: what capabilities would these Gripens bring to the battlefield? Why did they matter now? At the time, Ukraine had declined Sweden's initial offer for these jets back in 2024, deciding instead to focus on mastering the F-16. This decision had been logical. Dedicating attention to two different types of aircraft would have complicated their defense efforts against Russia. Fast forward to January 2025, where Ukrainian pilots had become adept with the F-16s. With one pilot shattering records by shooting down 6 cruise missiles in a single mission, it was now time for Ukraine to embrace the Gripens. As discussions ramped up among European allies, Defense Minister Rustem Umerov indicated that commitments for Gripens were in the works, confirming that Ukraine was finally ready to say yes. Why does this matter in the grand scheme of things? Just days before Havrilyuk's announcement, Russian fighter jets had provoked NATO by nearing airspace over Lithuania. NATO's response was revealing. Gripens provided by Hungary were dispatched to escort Russia's aircraft away, signifying confidence in the Swedish design and its capabilities. What lies ahead for Ukraine with the Gripen in its arsenal? Designed to counter modern threats, the Gripen boasts advanced tech and agility, perfect for navigating the current landscape of warfare. Its impressive electronic warfare capabilities enable it to outmaneuver Russian jamming tactics, making it a worthy adversary. The cockpit provides real-time data, allowing pilots to make split-second decisions and coordinate attacks with precision. What will Ukraine achieve once these aircraft soar through its skies? With a streamlined refueling and rearming process, taking less than 20 minutes, the Gripen is poised for rapid response in warfare. In a conflict where missiles and drones reign supreme, this jet is invaluable. Beyond its tactical advantages, the Gripen represents a symbol of independence and innovation. Sweden, in crafting this fighter, diverged from conventional routes, embracing self-sufficiency in defense technology. Similarly, Ukraine has forged its path towards weapon development, especially in the wake of fluctuating support from allies. As the Gripens approach, one thing is clear: Ukraine is on the brink of transforming its air strategy. What new heights will it reach with this powerful addition? The answer lies just ahead.